Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late, but I've been trying to find a time to do these consistently, and I had picked 5 o'clock on Thursday. And then, of course, I don't want to go through the whole sad story, but my husband and I were trying to get food. And since it's Christmas Eve tonight, we wanted to get it early enough that we wouldn't have to worry because last time on Thanksgiving, they canceled our order out and he really needed the food. And so, of course, they screwed up and we didn't get it and they canceled us out. I had to reorder. And so, anyway, it was a whole thing going on here today. So I said to my husband, I go, of course they're going to show up right at 5 o'clock. And lo and behold, 4:58, the doorbell, not the doorbell, but they knocked. And I'm like, oh my God, seriously? So anyway, so that's what happened. And that actually has been one of the things holding me back, which is just that things sometimes get really chaotic around here. And anyway, so the reason that I decided to do this was somebody had asked, what was your win last week? And I said, my win was that I got over a block of doing Facebook Lives that I had had for quite a while because I would work with my coach and we'd kind of work through some stuff. And I'm still not totally convinced that I'm completely over it, but I'm being intentional about wanting to be over it. And so one of the issues has been, what time of day should I do it? Like sometimes it's, as I said, it's so chaotic here. And sometimes it's chaotic earlier, sometimes it's chaotic later, and then I don't feel like it. And anyway, but I'm going to talk a little bit later about how I'm kind of setting up some parameters that make it easier for me to get through this stuff. But if you don't know, I'm a caregiver for my husband. He's 89 years old, and sometimes he gets frustrated and he'll have a tantrum while I'm online, which I don't like, or he'll walk by wearing something or not wearing something that could be embarrassing. And so that was another thing. And finally, COVID has made it easier, but I don't like not having control. I don't like that things can happen that just are crazy, or embarrassing or all of that. But I'm getting better with COVID and, just everything going on. So people who want to hear what I have to say, I finally have come to the conclusion will come, and those who don't won't. And they just will never have to, they'll have to never expect it to be super professional looking right now because it's just not possible. So anyway, and then there were outside parameters like, I've never felt like doing video was my strongest suit. And I learned a lot this year. And I worked with Suzanne Evans, and she did a Facebook Live challenge, actually. And one of the things that she was saying, which I'd heard before, is you want your videos to be at least 15 minutes when you do Facebook Lives. And that made me nervous because I felt like they were always, yeah, just do it and be scared. Yeah, thanks, Cher. Yeah, so I would start to get nervous because they were like 9 to 12 minutes and they were not going 15 minutes. And then that made me crazy. It's like, oh my God, what, now I got to stay on for 15 minutes and I don't know what else to say. And so that made me really stressed out. And so my coach said to me, why do you have to do 15 minutes? It's your show. She goes, I don't care if you do 2 minutes or 3 minutes or, work up to it or whatever. I just want you to be consistent. So I was even nervous about picking a time in which to be consistent, but I've sort of decided on 5 o'clock. And then today, of course, at 4:58, I had to deal with the food. So so it seems like no matter what time I pick, it's never always a good time. So it is what it is again. So I don't know if it'll stay at 5 o'clock or not, but that's what I'm doing, 5 o'clock on Thursdays. And today it just happened to turn out to be Christmas Eve. So it is what it is. Anyway, so the next thing, the next area of blocks was I don't know what to talk about. So, I've done so many teleseminars and so many webinars and just so much over 16 years that I felt like I've said it all. I don't know what else to say, but I was thinking about it just in terms of teaching. And the whole thing about Facebook Live is it's about teaching, but it's also about sharing and about being vulnerable and about, um, just being there for other people and being consistent for yourself and trusting yourself to do that. So I kind of had to think about, okay, well, how could I do this differently? And my coach was saying to me, well, look, first of all, you have a podcast. And I said, I do. And I love my podcast. And it's really easy for me. I see it like a tennis match where we play off of each other. I don't have to think about what am I going to say. I just say whatever I feel like saying based on what they said. And so she said, well, what if you went back and you transcribed them? And I said, well, they're already transcribed. And she said, well, look at the topics that you talked about and then see how you could expound on some of them. So I thought that's a great idea. And so that took some of the pressure off. So between not having to go 15 minutes and taking the pressure off and feeling like it's okay for me to share, what's going on in our crazy household, all those things made it easier for me to at least take the first step and say, okay, I really do want to commit to this. I really do want to do this. And I don't want to let you guys down and, say I'm going to do it and then not do it. So that was a fear as well. Because I can only do so much consistently and then other things kind of have to be fit in. So I'm trying to add one more thing now, which is Facebook. So we'll see how this goes, but I am feeling committed to this. Anyway, and then also, I learned on teleseminars, and teleseminars just felt safer and easier, and I could edit them. I don't know how to edit in video. I do have somebody who helps me, now and then, but I didn't want to be constantly editing videos. And there are also physical issues. I mean, it's like as you get older, your face changes and you see imperfections that you didn't see when you were younger. And I was always critical of myself anyway. Now now it just gets harder when you're older, or it gets easier because you say, what the hell? It's one or the other. So, there's that. And then I always wanted to be in full makeup, and I can't be because my eyes would swell up. And so, that was another thing. I just had to get over wanting to look a certain way. And of course, again, with COVID, it's the same thing. It's like my hair's down to my waist now, when I'm in the shower. So again, it just is what it is. So you just deal with it. And so I'm being really honest here, and I'm doing it because I know other people go through some of the same stuff I do. Maybe you don't have as many blocks as I did, or maybe you have more. I don't know. But the point is that I'm doing it anyway, and I want to encourage others to do it anyway. And if you're having some of the same issues, feel free to share, feel free to ask for help. For me, having a coach just really made a big difference, huge difference. And anyway, so yeah, so that was that. But I just think that we play so many mind games with ourselves, trying to protect ourselves from things that could go wrong, or trying to protect ourselves from getting hurt. And the truth is that you can't really, if you're going to be successful, and you're only going to be as successful as you allow yourself to be out there and you allow people to see you or not see you. And so when I started my podcast, I mean, I did it because I love to talk and I love to listen and I love to learn. And I remember when I was in college at UC Berkeley, one of my favorite things was that we would go and we would hang out in coffee houses and talk about life and philosophy and all that sort of thing. So it's always something that has been something I like to do. So I knew that podcasting would be a good fit for me. And I know that you can do Facebook Lives with other people. I'm already doing, that one interview a week with people. And I have started putting those on YouTube, so you can see those. And I think I'm putting them sometimes in Facebook as well. But the point is that that you have to decide how successful you want to be, and then you have to be willing to do what it's going to take to be successful. And if you feel like what you're doing is not getting you where you want to go, and I've noticed that over time, when I do a video, that I definitely reach more people, at least at this point, than I do on my podcast. in general. And so that was another reason that I wanted to add it in. And I think that the more you do something, the better you get at it if you're honest with yourself. But what happened for me was that I actually did a 30-day challenge on doing Facebook Lives a while ago. And that wasn't really a problem. I mean, I did it for 30 days, but then all that other stuff crept in later again, like I don't know what to talk about and, prep time and all this. And even today, part of the reason I was late, as I said, was because they came with the food. But the other part was I started doing it and I thought I was on, and it turned out I wasn't live yet. So, the fear of technology is still with me as well. I'm not, I don't have this one down. Whereas on my podcast, I come from the music business. I know how to edit audio and I'm very comfortable with it. And I also feel like when I'm doing my podcast, like on days when I am tired, but I know I have a podcast to get out, it's really comfortable for me. So I don't really have to push myself with it, whereas with this, sometimes I really have to push myself to go live and to be on regardless of how I feel. So anyway, so that really is what I wanted to share. And, if you're having trouble with Facebook Lives, if you need help, as I said, working with somebody who's good at this is great. Or if you just need a cheering section, I'm here. I'm here cheering you on. And as I said, it's Christmas Eve, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And I have a gift for you. So that gift is a candid conversation that I had with a podcast host. He was actually talking to me to find out if I was going to be a good fit for his podcast. And the conversation was getting so interesting that I said to him, God, I wish I had recorded this. And I said, well, would you mind if I record it from here? And he said, no, not at all. And I'd already gone through my story, but I turned it on. So like, there's no like introduction or anything to it. We're just like in the middle of a conversation. And we talked about mindset. We talked about visibility. We talked about 3 keys to success. We talked about a lot of things, but it's very candid. It's very candid because, it was just the two of us and it wasn't really for anything, but I knew that it was so good that it would be valuable to others. So to get that gift, you go to http://ellenlikes.com/behind-the-curtain. So it's ellenlikes.com/behind-the-curtain. So anyway, have a wonderful Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And that's it for now. Bye-bye.